Alright students, let's go ahead and now revise the next chapter. The next chapter is payment of taxes. Everyone, let's take a quick linking. We started learning GST with goods and service. Goods and service has to be supplied. Supply can be either interstate or intrastate. Interstate or intrastate. GST will be levied. Once GST is levied, it has to be collected and paid by a taxable person. How will he collect and pay? He will calculate GST is equal to value of supply into rate of tax. Once you know the value, you will prepare the tax invoice, credit note, debit note and delivery challan. Then they will maintain their accounts and records and send the goods to the other person with the help of e-way bill. Then the liability will come. Liability comes at the time of supply. Then they will go ahead and use their input tax credit and then they will go ahead and make the remaining amount ka payment. So here comes the next chapter. The next chapter is payment of taxes. Section number 49 and section number 50, read with rule number 85, 86, 87, which is e-liability, e-credit and e-cash ledger. Right, everyone? Now, everyone over here, A-graded topic for your exam. You have to know this chapter or else you will not be able to do big questions which are there in the exam. Everyone over here, section number 49, read with rule number 85, 86 and 87. So if there is a taxable person who is liable, so if you are a taxable person, you are liable to go ahead and take registration under section number 22 or 24. Section number 22 में 4 people are liable. Section number 24 में creations are liable to go ahead and take registration. Then they will go online and take registration on the common portal, that is the gst.gov.in. Then portal will open 3 accounts for him. What are the 3 accounts? E-cash, e-credit, e-liability. Every account will have one debit and one credit. Every account will have one credit and one debit. Right, everyone? Now, if you go ahead and talk about e-liability ledger, in the e-liability ledger, what will be debited, everyone? All the liabilities will be debited, that is as per your returns which you have gone ahead and furnished. Whatever is your self-assessed liability, that will be debited as determined by the proper officer in the proceeding. Basically, demand order ka liability also will be debited. Any interest that may accrue from time to time, might be you have gone ahead and filed your return late, etc. Whatever interest is accruing, that will also be debited. How will you go ahead and pay off your liability? You will go ahead and pay off by first using your e-credit ledger and then e-cash ledger. So here always first e-credit ledger में amount will come from the e-liability ledger में amount will come from e-credit ledger and then e-cash ledger. Also we have gone ahead and learned TTRC IPLO always has to be paid in through e-cash. If you have a liability of TDS, TCS, reverse charge ka liability, composition tax ka liability, TDS, TCS, reverse charge, composition tax, interest, penalty, late fee or any other amount, that always has to be paid through e-cash. You can't go ahead and use your credit. Always remember what is the manner of discharge, sir. First of all, you have to discharge your self-assessed tax and dues relating to returns of previous tax period, then current tax period, self-assessed tax and any other dues, then any other amount which has been payable under this act, including demand order. Can we go ahead, everyone? The next one over here is rule number 86. Rule number 86 talks about e-credit ledger. In e-credit ledger also you have one credit and you have one debit. In e-credit ledger, whatever is the ITC self-assessed by you, that will be given to you provisionally. Right, everyone? Section number 41 talks about provisional ITC. Basically, if the supplier goes ahead and files his GSTR1 or in his GSTR1 he includes the invoice or debit note, the amount will come in your GSTR2B. You can go ahead and take the credit, but that is subject to the payment by the supplier to the government. You will take it provisionally, but that is subject to, you take it provisionally. Later, the supplier should pay to the government, only then the ITC is being confirmed. Can I go ahead, everyone? Now, how will you go ahead and use it? You will go ahead and use it to make payment towards your output tax liability. Always remember, input tax credit you can pay only use to pay your output tax liability. You can't go ahead and use it for TTRC IPLO. TTRC IPLO ke liye always cash has to be used. Sir, if I have credit, how do I go ahead and use my credit? Always remember one thing, credit can be cross utilized also, and credit cross utilization they have defined it, saying, sir, e-credit ledger ka balance, if you have IGST, you can use for IGST. IGST can be then used for CGST, then it can be used for SGST. Basically, it can be used, IGST can be used for IGST, then CGST or SGST you can use for payment of CGST, SGST in any order, any proportion. IGST should be exhausted, then you will use CGST for CGST, CGST for IGST, SGST for SGST, SGST for IGST. CGST to SGST or SGST to CGST is never possible. Are we clear, everyone? Always remember, when you are paying your IGST, first pay always from CGST, and IGST should be then paid from SGST. Yes or no, everyone? Correct? No. Sir, as CGST I use for CGST, then CGST you use for IGST. SGST you picked up at the last, so SGST should be used for SGST and SGST should be used for IGST. So if I ask you IGST ka liability first through IGST, then through CGST and then through SGST. I hope everyone is clear. Let's go ahead. Then everyone over here, e-cash ledger. E-cash ledger mein basically you have to, whenever you are a taxable person and you have to pay the tax, you will generate online GST PMT06, in which you will go ahead and pay whatever your liability is there, that only you will go ahead and deposit. Yes, everyone, always deposit whatever you have to pay as your liability. If you have to pay CGST tax, deposit CGST tax only. If you have to pay SGST tax, deposit SGST tax only. You will have to go online, generate a challan PMT06 on the common portal. It is valid for how many days? 15 days. Once you generate a challan, common portal identification number will be generated, which is 14 digit. Then you will go and make the payment. Payment can be done by internet banking, debit card, credit card, NEFT, RTGS, and over the counter 10,000. Always remember, over the counter 10,000 is per challan per tax period, and sir, it can be either in cash, check, or DD. OIDR may also go ahead and use international money transfer. When you are making the payment of the tax, commission is always to be borne by you. Now, if you have gone ahead and made the payment and the amount is credited to the government account, in that scenario, always remember that day when the amount is credited to the government account, that is deemed as the deposit of tax. Sir, once the amount goes to the government account, SIN is generated. SIN is nothing other than common portal identification number, which is 14 digit plus 4 digit bank code will be added. So it is 18 digit over here, and the amount gets credited to your e-cash ledger. Always remember, if somebody has deducted your TDS and TCS, that amount is also put in the e-cash ledger. Sir, what do I do with e-cash? Whatever you deposit in the e-cash, you can use it to make the payment of tax, interest, penalty, fees, or any other amount. Sir, what will it be debited for? The amount can be used for making payment of interest, tax, interest. Every deposit will be done over here of tax, interest, penalty, late fee, or any other amount, and that amount will be used to pay tax, interest, penalty, late fee, or any other amount. Sir, if unregistered person has to make the payment, he will make on the basis of temporary identification number. Sir, if I by chance have gone ahead and deposited in any other head by mistake, says tax may I deposited, but I wanted it in CGST interest, you can transfer from anywhere to anywhere. Always remember, e-cash ledger. Always remember, e-cash ledger balances cannot be cross-utilized, but it can be transferred cross. Cross transfer is possible, and then utilization can be done. So if I have to pay CGST tax, but the amount is in CGST says ka interest, you can transfer it to CGST tax and accordingly go ahead and use. Means any head, any major head to any minor head is possible to be transferred using PMT09. So, sir, any amount of tax, interest, penalty amount from e-cash ledger can be transferred to another e-cash ledger of integrated tax, central tax, state tax, union territory tax using form PMT09. I am transferring from one head to another. Government is telling from the head you are transferring, it will be deemed that you have been given a refund, and to the head you are transferring, it will be deemed that it's a deposit. Sir, if I have extra balance in my e-cash ledger, you can also go ahead and claim a refund. Always remember, major head tax is only 5: CGST, SGST, IGST, CGST, SGST, IGST, UTGST, and cess. CGST or SGST, anything will be there. If you have taken registration in SGST or UTGST, any one will be there. If you have taken registration in a state, then you will get SGST. If you have taken registration in a UT, you will have Union Territory GST. Can I go ahead, everyone? Minor head, every major head has one minor head, 5 minor head: tax, interest, penalty, late fee, and any other amount. Tax, interest, penalty, late fee, and any other amount. So every major will have 5 minor heads. Next, sir, this 10,000 ka restriction over the counter, is it not applicable in some cases? Yes, Baba, it is not applicable on deposit made by government department, on deposit made by the commissioner, person notified by the commissioner, on deposit made by the government department, on deposit made by the person notified by the commissioner. If proper officer or any other officer authorized to recover outstanding dues from a person, including recovery through attachment, sale of mobile, immobile property, whatever amount has been recovered, if that is more than 10,000 also, it can be deposited in cash. Sir, proper officer has gone or officer authorized for amount collected during investigation, enforcement activity, or any other ad hoc amount, those amount also can be deposited more than 10,000 in cash. Electronic focal point branch. What is an electronic focal point branch? EFPB is all the authorized bank will go ahead and appoint one branch as the electronic focal point branch where the government accounts will be maintained. Any payment through that bank from anywhere in India will always come to the electronic focal point branch. EFPBs are basically branch of the authorized bank, right everyone? And every bank will appoint one branch as the EFPB branch. Branches of authorized bank authorized to collect GST, each authorized bank to nominate one branch as the electronic focal point branch. Now we have section number 50 over here. Section number 50 says interest has to be paid if you go ahead and make the delayed payment of tax. Every person who fails to pay the tax will have to pay along with interest at the rate of 18%. For an example, your liability was paid to be paid by 20th of next month. You paid by 30th, 10 days ka delay. Always remember 20th you will not include. You will have to take from the next day up to the date of payment. Date of payment has to be also included for the calculation of interest. Sir, every proviso, interest shall be payable on tax paid by debiting e-cash ledger only. Whatever you are paying through your e-cash ledger, sir, even if you have a e-cash ledger balance, doesn't matter. Whatever you are paying through your e-cash ledger, on that interest will come. Interest will be from the date succeeding the due date. And always remember, if you have gone ahead and taken extra ITC or you have unduly reduced your output tax liability and you are caught, you will have to go ahead and pay interest at the rate of 24%. Now, rule number 86A comes if the commissioner has any doubt on you that whatever credit you have taken you are ineligible, then he will go ahead and block your credit. It says rule number 86A, commissioner or officer authorized has reason to believe that ITC is in e-credit ledger has been availed fraudulently or you are ineligible, he may not allow debit of such amount equal to the credit for discharge of liability also, or you can't go ahead and claim a refund of that amount also. Reason for blocking ITC on the basis of non-existent supplier or not conducting business from declared place of business. Sir, you have gone ahead and taken the ITC on the basis of a supplier who is not doing business from his declared place of business or who is not existing only. Who is not existing. You have taken the ITC without receiving the goods, services or both, or ITC on the basis of document with respect to which the supplier has not paid the tax to the government. If the tax is not paid to the government, whatever credit you have taken, you are ineligible. Recipient is non-existing or not conducting business from declared place of business. You are only not existing. Officer is telling he is not existing. In that scenario, he will go ahead and block your credit. ITC without document, you don't have the tax invoice or revised tax invoice, debit note or any other document prescribed under rule number 36. Rule number 36 says boards are prescribed. Right everyone? B for bill of entry, I for ISD invoice, R for RCM, D for debit note and S for such other documents. Supplier's invoice. Commissioner or now these are the reason why they can go ahead and block your credit. But if the commissioner is satisfied that the condition is no longer existing, then he will go ahead and allow the debit. He will allow you to use the credit. Basically, he will allow you to debit the amounts in the e-credit ledger. So restriction is maximum applicable for 1 year. Within 1 year, the commissioner has to go ahead and do the adjudication basically. Next, rule number 86B goes ahead and says restriction on use of amount in the e-credit ledger. Government went ahead and told some people are having excessively excess credit, might be they are going ahead and buying bogus invoices and all those things. So government wanted to go ahead and say that you cannot go ahead and use your credit more than how much? 99%. Now, sir, if you are a registered person and value of taxable supply excluding zero-rated supply and exempt supply in a month is greater than 50 lakh, he shall not use e-credit ledger to discharge output tax in excess of 99%, means 1% at least cash has to be used. First condition, registered person. Second condition, value of taxable supply excluding exempt supply and zero-rated supply should be greater than 50 lakh. Only then 99% can be used. 1% has to credit can be used, 1% has to be paid in cash. This 1% payment in cash also restriction is not applicable if you are a registered person, proprietor, karta, managing director or any two partner or whole-time director or member of managing committee of association or board of trustee have paid how much? Greater than 1 lakh income tax in each of the last 2 financial year for which the date for filing the return is already over. Yes, everyone. Next. Registered person has received a refund in preceding financial year on account of unutilized ITC under section number 5431. Basically, your zero-rated supply ka refund or inverted duty structure ka case mein refund in the preceding financial year was greater than 1 year. See, 1 lakh. Either in each of the last 2 financial year, you have paid what? more than 1 lakh in income tax, it is not clubbingly 1 lakh. It is each of the financial year, last two preceding financial year, for which the due date to file income tax return is gone, and you have gone ahead and paid more than 1 lakh rupees income tax in the both year में 1 lakh, and or last year you had, not last 2 year, last year you had gone ahead and received a refund of ITC, input tax credit ka refund is given only in two scenario. One is zero rated supply ka ITC refund is given, and secondly, sir, if you are a case of inverted duty structure where output ka rate is less than input ka rate, then only refund is given. So in this scenario, if you are given a refund of more than 1 lakh rupees, or registered person has discharged through e-cash greater than 1% of the output tax liability cumulatively up to the said month. So for an example, from April till date, you have done a 1 crore rupees ka supply. 1 crore mein how much is to be paid in cash? April, May, June, July. For an example, 4 months. 1 crore ka 1 lakh is to be paid in cash. Might be you have already 1 crore mein how much is the GST? 1 crore mein 18 lakh is the GST. Correct everyone? 18 lakh mein at least 1% is to be paid in ka 18,000. Might be you have already paid 18,000 in this last 2 months only. So then they are going ahead and telling if you have paid more than 18,000 in the last 2 months only, now this month's may compliance is not required, because cumulatively you will have to see that you have paid more than 1% in cash. Are we clear everyone? Or you are a registered person who is government department, public sector undertaking, local authority or a statutory body. In that scenario also this 1% ka criteria is not applicable. Sir, what kind of a chapter it is? I go ahead and consider it as A graded chapter, because if you don't know this chapter, you will not be able to solve big questions in the exam. You have to know this chapter. Now 86B which is there is very important. 86A which is there is very important. Interest calculation becomes important. Cross utilization, how to go ahead and cross utilize is also very important. You also should remember TTRCIPLO cannot be paid in credit. Sir, also if you want to transfer from your cash ledger, you can go ahead and use GST PMT 09. When can 10,000 rupees provision not applicable? When 10,000 wala provision is not applicable, means you can deposit more than 10,000 in cash. This is also important. I will go ahead and stop my discussion over here. 2 to 5 marks is something which you can expect out of this chapter. Right everyone, have a great day everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the revision. Take care. Bye all.